This opera for me has been unique in as much as it's a combination between two institutions, so Omega and Sydney Chamber Opera. And for a lot of us, we were sort of flying blind, figuring out what that might look like. And it was also a very director-driven project with Alex Berlage, who directed and lit the project. And essentially, we went back and forth about how to navigate the complexity of this commission to write something about Aphrodite. Laura Leflian, who wrote the libretto, and Alex and I were only in the same room one time in advance.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's listen to those chords before just to listen.
What's cool about what Laura wrote in this libretto is that, yes, it's about Aphrodite, but actually it's more about the effects of something that happened a long time ago. So the framing device is that we have an academic who studies Aphrodite, and she's called Ava. It's played by Jess, and her work has become a kind of unexpected pop hit, like one of those books that maybe was slightly academic, but then you can buy it in the airport. And through the opera, we realize that she is being in some way still haunted by the same conditions under which the myth of Aphrodite arose. And we trace her both as an academic, but then as a woman living in modern times, reacting to the myth, and then at a certain point in the piece, the sort of reality of Aphrodite existing in the modern context. With the chamber opera, having established that we had two people on stage in a confined space, so here it's a rather large hotel room, and the conceit is that the 7 people in the ensemble could conceivably fit into that space. So you have an appropriate balance between the voices and the number of people in the ensemble, but also there's a sense that physically everyone could occupy the same space, which indeed does happen at the end, where both singers leave the confines of the traditional set and end up on the same plane as the ensemble. I built in, before I even wrote any notes, that the ensemble would have a dramatic function in the piece. So there are interludes where the ensemble knows something that the characters don't, and then there are constant moments of interplay and doubling and bouncing back and forth between the voices and the ensemble.
Very good, very good. That's
working with two excellent chamber ensembles, which is to say Sydney Chamber Opera and Omega, is a joy because of the flexibility of both ensembles, but also the willingness to take risks and the ability to pivot quickly in a project. This is something that's much more difficult with a large performing arts company, whether that's an opera or a symphony. And it felt actually like when in-laws become real family in a strange way. It was two organizations bringing the best of what they can do in a really nimble and flexible way. So as I sit here, it is almost 6 years to the day since the first piece I wrote for Omega was premiered in 2019. And at that time, we started thinking about what the next thing should be. And the idea of doing something with Sydney Chamber Opera came up. So this is my 3rd time now collaborating with Omega, 1st time with Sydney Chamber Opera, but definitely not the last. And if either of them calls or both at the same time, I will definitely be on the first flight.